What is up, beautiful people of YouTube? Before we roll into today's breakdown, let's talk about the guy behind it all. This right here is Scimandan. He's a YouTuber with over 500,000 followers whose entire channel is built on taking the piss and ridiculing people who question the mainstream narrative. His message is simple. His method is very simple. He cherry picks smaller creators, twists their content with misinterpretations, and slaps on pseudoscience analysis that he never actually proves. You see, this guy is just what we call a boil on your bum. He just follows you around, misinterpreting your creations and all your research. And when he first came after me, I had barely 2,000 followers. He had over 500,000. It wasn't really a fair fight. It was designed to crush a smaller voice, to make an example out of me. But instead of destroying me, it lit a fire. It forced me to sharpen my content, to go deeper, to be stronger, and to speak my truth with more conviction than I ever have before. In a strange way, I should actually thank him, because without realizing it, he made me a better creator. But here's the important point. This isn't just about me. He does this to a lot of creators, a lot of content creators worldwide who are just starting out, people like me who are just speaking their truth, sharing their research and questioning what we were told. And he tries to frame them as jokers, not by bringing any proof, but by recycling textbook talking points that crumble the moment that you actually analyze them. He proves nothing. He never does. He hides behind sarcasm, editing, and the assumption that if he says something so confidently enough, his audience won't even question it. But I've been debunking his same tired arguments for over a year now, with more depth than he ever has, more depth than he is even willing to touch. So today we are going to break down exactly what his so-called debunk of me was nothing more than just smoke and mirrors. And trust me, once you see how shallow his methods are, you'll understand how his whole channel depends on mocking rather than proving. So let's roll the clip.
Early astronomers like Herschel or even Hubble were interpreting light patterns and not measuring physical travel distances.
Okay, I'm going to give you a pass on pronouncing Andromeda, Andromeda. But what you said there was very wrong. Hubble was literally known for working out distances. You couldn't have picked a worse name to make your point, to be honest. Absolutely amazing.
See, one thing you need to realise is that Pseudoscience Dan does nothing to prove his case. He just sits there with a smug little face and misinterprets people's hard work for his own narrative. But Edwin Hubble did not measure distance. He didn't have a giant tape measure. He didn't hop galaxies and triangulate stars. What he did was observe redshift, the stretching of light. That is literally it. And the embarrassing part for Pseudoscience Dan is that he mustn't realise that redshift is just an observation. It's literally the assumption that it equals distance, that it proves expansion. This is exactly that, an assumption, an interpretation, and not a measurement. Ultimately, if Pseudoscience Dan did his own research instead of just sarcastically misinterpreting people's work, he would have realised that even Hubble himself was very cautious. He admitted that redshift could have other causes. Plasma cosmology, tired light, electrical models, all ignored because the Big Bang narrative was far too profitable. Billions in funding, careers, documentaries and textbooks, all resting on twisting one man's cautious observation into a dogma. So when this guy says that Hubble measured distances, what he is really doing is just parroting textbook lines like that he has never even investigated himself. So he comes with no evidence, no experiment, and no actual proof himself, just complete parroting of the pseudoscience anomalies that he can never prove himself. That isn't science, that's scientism, It's literally just religion in a lab coat. And honestly, the only distance that the Hubble has ever measured was the gap between critical thinking and people like Pseudoscience Dan. Now, for everyone who actually values the truth and loves to question, I have got the ultimate shirt drop. The front says, once you go flat, you never glow back. And the back obviously says, I'm as fictional as a dinosaur, baby. These t-shirts are £25 each. Very simple to order. Just PM me directly. Quick bank transfer, and it is literally on its way. Because if we're going to wake people up, we may as well wear it proudly whilst we do it. So thank you very much, Pseudoscience Dan, for giving me the great content today. And thank you to any one of you beautiful people for keeping this movement alive and buying one of my beautiful new t-shirts. And obviously, for the sensory reasons, this wasn't for entertainment, and I'm still as fictional as a dinosaur, baby.